Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king. Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the tank top sage. It's Joshua. Gangsta Time Code.
It's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening? Still got the balloons up there.
Hell yeah. We're in 301, baby. The 300 era. Also joining us, it is our producer, Edgelord Big News Brian.
Sup, nerds?
Hey, we're back, baby. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. I was very stressed a few minutes ago trying to figure out technology.
Technology is always the hardest to figure out.
Yeah, but I've been good. I'll tell you this, I started exercising last week.
Word.
Yes, and I continued it this week, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I got to get into that more.
What they say in Hajime no Ippo, one step at a time.
Yeah. Or multiple.
Until you're strong enough to hit somebody so fucking hard they do a flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been rereading.
I'll never forget that. Yeah,
it's happened a few times in this series. I'm at Yeah, it's happened a few times.
No fucking way. They can't take that from that guy. The one that got flipped when he got hit first.
Yeah,
that was his thing.
Ippo's flipped a lot of people.
Has he flipped a lot of people? I don't remember someone getting flipped like that.
All right, so Kojima got flipped Omega hard, but I think Karasuo or something like that got flipped too.
Well, that's fun.
I'm at chapter 1138.
Damn, he got there fast.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I've been reading it quite a lot.
So you're pretty much at the point where I think started to drop off, and not on purpose, just because they wasn't. Just for the record, I fell off with Hajime no Ippo when they didn't upload a chapter for months. Fell out. You just forget. You forget. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The last time I read Hajime no Ippo was on Manga Stream.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
That was the best for that site. Remember how simple and plain it was?
It was so clean,
it was
too.
All white.
They were
so...
They were really good scanlators on there.
BRB.
They were good, and they used to get this shit. They used to get this shit done early.
Yeah, it was great. Those were good times.
Yeah.
Have you? You're reading One Piece from the beginning, right? Right, Josh?
I sure am, and I'm gonna make a little series.
Oh, hey, you disappeared for a while.
Me personally, I've always combined those two things together. Enies Lobby, Water 7. But for what it's worth, they are two completely separate arcs.
So apparently, it's separated into 3 arcs.
Coco.
There's
What's that noise?
There's Water 7. Oh, sorry, I'm just. It's Water 7. Then there's Enies Lobby, and then there's Post Enies Lobby. Post Lobby is an arc considered.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, the stories. I mean, I mentioned it on a few pre-shows before, but I mean, One Piece, as you all know, is goated. And if you don't know and you're listening, hey, listen to me. I'm a homer, but I'm dead ass serious too. One Piece is solid. I used to say silly shit like, "Oh man, it doesn't really turn up until this arc." And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not saying that this arc isn't. How do I just put it? I feel like I've been equally entertained in the past arcs than I have been up to this point with this Endless Lobby Water 7. It's not like the themes got more mature or nothing like that. I know exactly what the difference was. The combat was a little bit more focused. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And that part didn't even happen yet. They didn't even get into the one-on-ones yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think this is the first time the whole crew gets a one-on-one, like gets like a very focused fight. That isn't like circumstantial or something like that.
Wasn't Alabasta like that?
Anyway. No. Oh.
Oh yeah, kinda.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And that's why I was lit. It was good. If you count the Chopper and Luffy and Usopp battle as like, you know, a 2-on-2, I mean, I would. I feel like that counts.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-2 fight.
Yeah. Enies Lobby, I guess, like, you know, I can tell, like, the world. I'll say this. I think the world building starts to become way more of a thing in this arc. Because there's a lot of stuff I already know about the series. You know what I'm saying? And I see the hints of it. But, like, without them really, like, kind of expanding. And it's crazy because I could have swore back when I read this before that, like, they revealed these world building topics, like, way earlier. But no, like, that shit doesn't start coming in until now and into the, I guess, after Moria's arc or whatever. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'll have a lot more to say next time. Hopefully I'll be finished with Enies Lobby by then and into Thriller Bark. And the mountain people that Christian has no idea of. He knows everything else in this fucking One Piece series, but when I mentioned the fucking mountain beings, the scary mountain beings that are a huge fucking deal, you know what I'm saying? Chris has no
I have no idea. I mean, they haven't explained it.
They're right by Thriller Bark. Because
they haven't explained it. I don't know what you want from me.
But if I mention it, you should be like, "Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, well, I
don't know what they are.
I don't know. Well, not that you have to. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised.
No.
When I brought it up, you had no idea what I was talking about.
I know of the mountain people.
You do, right? They're not like people. They're just like huge fucking people. They're like monsters. They're called.
Well, nobody
Triangle,
knows. Nobody knows what they are,
but they're out there, and they're by Thriller. When they're in Thriller Bark, they're next to that shit. Like, they're not far from those things. So I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait to send you, Chris, screenshots of that shit.
I know what you're talking about. They just don't explain what they are. I don't know what you want.
But they're a big deal, and you acting like they're not. Papaug is a way bigger deal to you than these niggas. I'm not even being sarcastic right now. I'm actually a little annoyed. Like,
Papaug is a named character. I know who he is.
When you guys were quizzing each other, nobody cared about the big fucking monsters.
I wasn't quizzing nobody.
Like a really big deal at the end of the series, most likely.
You're the one quizzing me.
What are they called again? I'm about to look that shit up.
Anyway, that's Josh's One Piece journey.
Yeah.
Enies Lobby is peak, though.
Triangle monster. Florian Triangle monster. Right?
yeah, that's who they are.
Well. All right. The Florian Triangle monsters. Congratulations. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know why you're so upset. Right. I don't get it. What did I do?
It's because you know everything else, but I feel like
nobody knows what these things are.
And then when there is, but everybody has something to say about it.
No, that's not true.
And don't try to plant your flag of oh, I'm not going to talk about something that hasn't been spoke on. Nigga, we theorize on this fucking podcast.
I don't have any theories. They're monsters in the Grand Line. What do you want?
They're emos. They're emu siblings.
There you go. Emu siblings. You heard it here first. The Florian Triangle monsters are emu siblings.
I'm dead ass too.
I know you are.
Dead ass. Refute that, Brian. You can't, because you know what? It might be true.
I'm looking.
I think that is a
I
theory on
defeated
it.
the Espinal brothers in One Piece
You did not.
today.
Chill.
That's what just happened.
Yo, chill. Okay, so over
I
one.
know something Chris doesn't know, and I have a theory that Brian can't best.
Yeah, they're gigantic
I'm on top.
unidentified entities in the Florian Triangle. Nobody knows what they are. There's nothing to fucking theorize. What are you gonna say?
Yo, you think Oda just threw them in there?
Yeah.
You know, they're just. No, you don't. No, you don't, bro. Just admit it. You forgot about them.
I didn't
and
forget about
you
them.
haven't
I
been
just
able to
don't
put
have
much
any
thought
thoughts.
into them because of that.
I just don't have any thoughts. There's nothing to go on. There just isn't anything to even say. They're blobs in the distance.
That's
They're
me,
right
Chris.
by the red line.
Hmm?
They're not far from Marineford. Well, the old one anyway. I mean, to me, like the fact that they're right on the red line and actually not far from
They're not on the red line.
that for a fact that they're by Marigold.
They're not on the red
they're
line.
right next to it though.
Nah.
Huh?
No.
I'm dead ass. Look,
The
because
Florian,
Thriller Bark is right by the red line. It was.
they were not right by it.
I mean, maybe a couple days of fucking sailing, but like, they're close enough for it to mean something to me.
I think they mean something. I just don't know what they are. I don't know what. I don't have any theories because they're just blobs in the distance.
Maybe we can make a topic of this one day
Maybe.
if Oda ever decides to revisit them.
Yeah.
This would be like the one fucking thing that he threw out there
That he just doesn't
has
answer
no
ever?
follow-up yet.
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
hope I don't have this confused.
What?
Huh?
What? Have what confused?
No, I was gonna say it could be. I mean, I hope that I hope that the whole Florian Triangle monster thing isn't fake, to the point that because they say people blame them for all of the missing shit, for all of the empty ships and shit, but we know that was Moria attacking them.
It's a little bit of both.
That's
the
why all the pirate shit
Florian
was
Triangle
empty.
is generally a really mysterious place that nobody really fucks with. Only Thriller Bark's there because Thriller Bark is Moria's ship, and it's a giant island that he made into a ship.
Does it have a pose?
What? Thriller Bark?
A log pose?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Moria has a log post.
I guess I'll find out later on. I wonder how they end up running into.
It seems
I'm
he's
curious
just
how they end up running into Moria.
It seems he's just randomly drifting in the Florian Triangle.
Well,
I'm
he's
looking
not
it up.
scared of those monsters.
Doesn't seem
That's
to be.
crazy.
But
I guess not. Or maybe he knows. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Moria's an interesting character. I think I think there's a lot more depth to him too. That
Mhm.
you know, I mean, he's gonna have a role to play. He's with Blackbeard right now, right?
No, he escaped. He refused to join Blackbeard.
Escaped. Oh,
He refused to join Blackbeard and was
What?
imprisoned. And then he escaped with Perona when she went to break out Kobe.
oh shit.
Perona went to Pirate Island, and she went to break out Moria, who she heard was on this island and was imprisoned. And then she ran into Kobe, and she made a deal with Kobe that she would set him free if, he told her where Moria was being kept. And that's how Kobe even got
Bro,
free out of his cage.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. So Perona managed to
Wow.
escape with Moria. So he's out there.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
All
before
right.
we move on to the show.
Yeah, I'm
proper-
done. I don't want to drag out.
Yeah,
I don't want to drag out my One Piece thoughts too much.
before we move on to the show proper, I want to update you guys on my quest to read every Shonen Jump series that's currently in circulation. I'm still on Blue Box. I'm 120 chapters deep into Blue Box. It's actually kind of good. I really like Blue Box. It took me a while to really get invested in it, but I think it's a very mature kind of series. It's not like out there like a lot of romance. It's not like very played for laughs so much. It's kind of a serious romance story.
A serious romance, like Twilight.
No, not like that. But it's like how like most series that we've seen, like Nisekoi and stuff like that, where there's like a big comedy element to it, and it's a harem element to it. It's more like realistic and grounded than that. And I think like about 100 chapters in, something happens that I've not seen in a romance series that I actually.
Oh, Steph Curry comes from America, right?
Is that
And
what
smacks the shit out of the boyfriend?
No, why would he do that?
I guess I was fed wrong information.
The main character plays badminton. He has no reason. It's just, he plays badminton, and the main character and his love interest plays basketball, and they just kind of encourage each other.
Is her favorite player Stephen Curry?
She doesn't mention who if she has an NBA player favorite. She doesn't mention who it is.
Does she have handles like Kyrie?
She seems to be good at it. She's not like out of this world, but she's good at basketball.
Can she pass?
No one
like
has
LeBron?
handles like Kyrie. How dare you, Brian?
Well, this girl does.
Definitely not. She doesn't have handles like Kyrie. But
no one does.
All right, my bad. I mean, Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. She might at least be on Jalen Brunson's level.
But not Kyrie's?
Not Kyrie's.
Yeah, that's more reasonable.
But yeah, I recommend Blue Box. It took a minute for me because,
Are you jesting, Brian?
Huh?
Is Brian jesting?
I didn't do
like
it, no.
maybe he needs to watch some Kyrie Irving highlights to stop disrespecting the king.
What do you mean disrespecting?
the king of handles.
Do you know what one of one means?
Like Sakuna?
Yes.
Anyway,
Kyrie is the Sukuna of handles.
I would agree with that. Kyrie is the Sukuna of handles. Anyway, read Blue Box. It's actually pretty good. I'm close to catching up. I'm like 40 chapters behind on Blue Box. No, maybe more, maybe 60 chapters actually. So, here's hoping I catch up soon. I'm afraid to end. I'm afraid it's going to end.
Is it interesting?
It is interesting. I really like it. I think it's a very mature series for what it is, and yeah, it's nice. I hope it doesn't end before I catch up to it, because that's what happened with Mission Yozakura Family. Like, I caught up just in time for the final chapter.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, right?
I'm just so happy we won't have to worry about reading that shit on the podcast.
No.
I was scared.
You would never, don't worry, you were not in danger of that. I like Mission Yozakura Family, but just like, it was okay. It wasn't like nuts. I said this multiple times.
It wasn't all that.
I said that multiple times on this podcast. I said it was an average shonen series. I never said it was anything good. Josh is celebrating nothing.
Let me stop. In the spot, and I came with the fellas. All right.
What is that? Anyway, we should get started with the show proper. Here we go. Sakamoto Days. This is Sakamoto Days, chapter 205, A Three-Stage Revolution. Last we left off, the Sakamoto gang escaped from prison.
Someone say revolution?
What?
You heard him.
I did say revolution.
It's okay.
I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what did I miss?
Oh, yeah. Revolution. Oh,
Ah.
sorry. Revolution.
Wait. This is my right hand. But
You should throw your left hand
yeah, right.
as a leftist.
The
There you go.
left fist for the leftist. Okay, so a 3-stage revolution. We left off, the Sakamoto gang escaped jail without having to use it for environmental battle purposes. Probably much to Brian's chagrin, probably.
I didn't think you was gonna say something so soon.
I just realized that myself. I was just like, it's like, oh no.
I don't know if you got a chance to listen to last week's episode yet, Brian, but like let's get into it. Let's just get into it.
Yeah. So they escaped, but they ran directly into the Order, who has turned coat and is now working for X. And we find out that X has killed the president of the JAA and has taken over himself. It's no bueno. And now he is addressing the public. But before we start that, we get a little flashback to X addressing his people and explaining that there was once upon a time, there were multiple assassin organizations, but thanks to its relationship to the government and it's sanctioned by the government, the JAA is the most powerful by far, because the government used the JAA to dispose of people who would make trouble for them. And in exchange, the JAA received so much money and so much privilege and access, and it became pretty much a government sanctioned government organization. And eventually, but X points out that killing begets dependency. And at first, the government used the JAA for its own purposes, but before long, it became dependent on the JAA. So it's not great. And his people ask him, if this system is working out for the better, then what do you want to achieve by breaking the status quo? And X is like, nothing. I just want to break it. And it's up to the people to fix it. And we open with X holding...
That's very irresponsible.
Yeah, definitely so. And he's holding... But that's not... Weirdly enough, that's not where the irresponsibility of X stops, because he's about to lay down a whole lot of irresponsibleness right now. He is on the TV screen holding up the half head of the ex-JAA president. And he introduces...
Who's his brother, by the way, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's his brother, for sure.
Something like that, right?
He said, look, this is my brother. And everybody's just watching this on a big screen in Japan and thinking, like, what is that, an actual head? Are they hijacking the airwaves? What do they mean by a reborn JAA? And X explains that X introduces himself and explains that he has a message for the people of Japan. He goes on to explain that there are assassins in Japan, and there are about 10,000 in Japan alone. 400 are professionally licensed by the JAA. Presiding over them is an organization called the Japanese Assassin Association. And he explains that they have been operating in silence, spilling their blood for unmentionable causes, and keeping the order of the underworld. But are you people really worthy of our protection? Once upon a time, he used to want to create a world in which kind-hearted people could live kind-hearted lives. But then he realized a fundamental truth, that goodness is an illusion maintained by by society's most privileged. And he goes, violence is at the core of every human. He says, I'll leave the proof to you. And he says, he explains that they say that on average, people have a serious desire to kill another person 3 times over the course of their lives. So in order to test that theory...
Who said that?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Who came up with that one?
I don't know where he pulled
theory?
this. He pulled this stat from somewhere.
I don't even want to say it's a lie. I just wonder if that's actually like a real life thing, or
I don't know.
I don't think it makes
Have you
a
guys-
difference ultimately, but like,
Have you guys
I'm
wanted to
curious.
do that seriously 3 times on
No,
average?
I can't even think of
No.
one
I haven't
time.
thought about it.
Well, either they say in your life or in a day.
In your life, not in a day. He says over your lifetime, you'll seriously consider
Well-
killing someone 3 times in your life on
I
average.
would like to. Okay. Well, no, the number far exceeds 3 for me.
Oh,
How many
I'll take a potato chip.
billionaires do you think are out there?
Too many.
That's good. That's a good answer.
Oh yes, Brian. Of course. There we go. Well, that's how many. That's how many people I've wanted to kill in my lifetime.
Well, then I
I
guess
wish it was that easy though. It's not that easy.
X is right then.
Some other asshole will just, Well, I mean, he was off by several hundred, but whatever.
He's saying on average, like the population. The population.
If
of the
everyone else is 0, it's in my hundreds, I guess.
you have enough for the rest of the
Anyway,
world.
yeah. Because I feel like my inclusion alone
Yeah,
raises the average.
yeah. He has to check out his stats. He has to update
And I
it.
can't be the only one that has those feelings. I can't be the only working class person with political consciousness. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
no, it's true.
So,
Well, X is seems to be the answer to all your problems because he plans on providing every citizen in Japan with a gun and 3 bullets. Use them however you wish. There will be no criminal penalties. He's basically enacting the purge, but forever, I guess.
forever. Oh, unless until your 3 bullets run out.
Yeah, I guess so. No getting more bullets, guys. Keep to your 3. If you shoot a 4th bullet, then we might have to put you in jail.
Then we will meet you with excessive violence.
Discriminating and excessive violence.
What's wild is I kind of understand where he's coming from, but we'll get into thoughts later.
Yeah, he's basically like, use them however you wish. There will be no criminal
He's
penalties.
insane, though.
He's nuts for this one. He's crazy for this
yeah.
one.
Totally disagree, but I kind of see.
Man, I don't want to live in this country with like that.
I think what's funny. I was gonna say this, but I'll put it like this. I think there's a lot of people that think they want to live in a society like that,
I definitely don't.
or think that whatever. I said what I said, right? A lot of people kind of think that they want to live in a society like that until they had to actually experience some shit like that.
Yeah. But in any case, he's X is like, you're probably wondering how that's even possible. Well, I've brought someone here to explain it to you. And look who shows up, but the Japanese Prime Minister. He pulls up and is immediately like, yeah, this is true. We're doing this, dog. You're all going to get guns. And we're going to... Oh.
Had to
Hey guys, sorry, I'm back.
edit anyway.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
Oh, you know, I'm glad you noticed. I thought
no,
you didn't
because
know.
it's my woo this time. So I'll have to edit this. Okay. Edit point here. So X starts to explain, is like, you may be wondering how this is even possible. Well, I've brought someone here to explain it to you. And lo and behold, it's the Japanese Prime Minister. He's here. And he explains, it's like, yes, it is true.
Hey guys.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. It is.
He said this group has already have control over all of the infrastructure in Japan. Communications, electricity, logistics, finance. They've already procured 124,500,000 guns. And he says they will create a new world order, a new order ruled by power, not by law. And as he's continued to talk, Magnet Girl is like, shut up now or die. OJ. Filmmaker guy is like, there's 8,000 comments on this live YouTube broadcast. I'm like, only 8,000?
Yo, you notice how they said X?
Yeah, X.
I'm back.
Yeah, they listen to the pod. I know the vibes.
Yeah, I know.
That was a reference to New Jump City podcast.
Oh yeah, X. X.
No, like why was it so bold right there?
I don't know. He said it very
Almost
intensely.
thought they meant 10.
10. There are 8,000 comments on this live YouTube broadcast. Man, that's rough. I guess there's a lot of content out there.
Just started. And it's only for Japan. It's not
That's
like
true. I guess you're right. But out of 124 million people? It's low numbers, my guy. Get your engagement up, dude. I sympathize. It's hard to build an audience. So
I'm surprised they used YouTube.
Right?
Like, they name dropped YouTube itself.
yeah, I'm surprised too. They usually have to change it. So X is like, I'll respond to a few.
Hold on, I gotta add something else. So they say X, and the first thing I thought about was Twitter. Because he's looking at his phone and they're looking at the laptop. And then they say YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay.
This does sound like a very Elon idea.
Yeah, I feel like daily users of Twitter would be okay with this whole situation.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm not a daily user, I guess.
I'm not a daily user either.
I guess I could say minutely user.
Secondly user.
Minutely users of Twitter would be down.
The chronically on Xers.
I'm really liking these handles. So they decide to do a Q&A. And I forget the girl names. I want to say Rena or something.
Rhea? I think it's Rhea.
Oh, yeah, remember her? Ray?
Yeah, something like that. She says, at fully ripe mochi man says, he says, how will you distribute the guns? And he's like, easy question. We'll establish distribution centers at JAA locations throughout Japan. Bring your individual number card to the location in your area on the designated day. At Party Fatso says, you have no right to involve innocent citizens in your terrorist activity. And X is like, nobody's innocent. I don't know about that, dog. Grandmas are innocent, you know? You talking about my grandma?
Just by living... Nigga said, just by living within this country system, you are complicit.
That's a little much.
That's just a logical fallacy, right
Yeah.
there. No, that's not a logical fallacy, but it definitely is a fallacy.
It's like just incorrect.
Her name is Rion, by the way.
Rion. There you go. Thank you. And Rion says, at Kill Baby says, I don't understand the rules. And he says, the intellectually inferior have no need to understand. I'm like, what the fuck, X?
Yeah, he just like flamed that guy for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. Stupid. Die then. You know?
Dummy.
Dummy. Smooth brain. Wise up, smooth brain.
Dumb.
Yeah. I feel like that last line was thrown in there to kind of communicate to everyone. No, this is a really bad guy.
Yeah, truly bad person. And he's X says, very soon all this country's preconceived ideas will crumble and Japan will become an elective society. You decide whether you live, die, or kill. Even if you've lived a divorced life from violence, this hell will descend upon you mercilessly. He's like, we welcome to complete freedom and complete disorder. But if what emerges is a society based on kindness, and then he thinks about Rion. And then, Oki's like, well, there you have it. From now on, the JA will lead the government. That's where the chapter ends, as Sakamoto and Shin are like, damn! We weren't even expecting. Ho! That's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think?
Oh, wait, no. Okay, so the girl's name is Akane, I think.
Akane. And
then
her mom or something.
Aunt. Yeah,
her aunt's
that's
name
Rion.
is Rion.
Yeah, Rion is the one that's dead.
Right. But yeah, that's where the chapter ends. Josh,
Yeah.
what did you think about Sakamoto Days, chapter 205?
So last week I remember saying that, like, I didn't know what the issue was with like the JSA or the society that was there before. I wasn't sure what was the issue with the status quo, and just keep in mind, right? Like, this is its own world and universe. Maybe assassins are just a job that people know of and it's just accepted, right? I don't want to say like just automatically because they had an assassin organization that means the society was bad. I mean, I think that's bad.
It's
But
not
anyway,
great. It's not
Yeah.
it's definitely not good.
Yeah. So I think like this was very necessary. We needed an explanation, and man, was this one hell of an explanation. I kept trying to like see like what is he representing? Is he supposed to be representing something right now, like a certain type of like a program, like a, you know what I mean, or like an idea, like idealism that's starting to settle like in actual, like in our lives or whatever, like in our world. But I mean, he's just a standard, I went through really bad things because of this organization, so I'm gonna make it so that everybody has to go through a rough beginning in order, for steel sharpens steel, the best of society survives situation. And
Yeah.
it's stupid. It's stupid, right? Like, society is so much better when we rely on each other to do things. Makes things easier, frees up more time for us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why anyone would want to live in a world where you definitely have to look over your shoulder all the time. So I don't have anything else serious to say, to be honest. Like, I want to see how this unfolds. But I think it's nice that he has some direction, that X himself has some like type of direction now, because he was just out there like catching bodies and seeking vengeance.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Sakamoto Days. Like I feel like it doesn't really know. Like, this doesn't feel like this was an idea that was planned. You know what I'm saying? Like at any certain point, this feels like something that is like, what, let's just spice the story up and give some characters some new stakes. So we'll see how it goes. Brian, what were your thoughts on Sakamoto Days?
I can't imagine this plan's gonna go super well for X because, like, not many people know how to actually use a gun, myself included. I don't think 3 bullets would be like enough for like a regular person.
Yeah.
To actually do what they want to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely want to use one for practice. You're definitely
Like,
wasting a
you're not
bullet
gonna-
on practice.
I don't think
three
he
bullets.
cares. And I think that's kind of the point. I think he's just like, man, if you already don't know how to do that, oh well.
The ultimate gun rights activist.
The American government is watching the live stream like, yo, wait
So
a second.
hold on. He's cooking right now.
Wait a sec.
Hold on.
Is this guy free agent? Is this guy
Whoa.
free agent?
Whoa. I never thought of that.
Sign him up with a
We thought we loved
4-year,
guns.
$50 million contract. Super max
Yeah.
contract.
We're drafting X to our cabinet positions.
I don't have much else to say about this chapter.
Yeah.
Pretty wild plan.
I got something else I want to add, actually.
Go
There's a part where he says, goodness is an illusion maintained by society's most privileged. Violence is at the core of every human. I'll leave the proof to you. And then that's when he gets into like, the gun situation. So I just disagree with that so much. I think human beings are actually geared towards like being social and wanting to like be with each other and being in society. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't I'm glad he's the bad guy saying that shit. I'll say that. Like I'm glad he's not like this real cool guy that had everything else planned and like this super like charismatic character. He's clearly like super duper cuckoo, and that's not even only because of like the multi-personality situation.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any grand plans. He's basically throwing a organized tantrum.
Yeah, agreed. Was that all you wanted to add? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I didn't want to cut you off. I thought this chapter was okay. I agree with Josh. I feel like, and not necessarily in a terrible way, but I feel like this is a very far cry from how this series began. Down to Sakamoto's design not really being Sakamoto anymore. It's a very standard plot. You know, it kind of reminded me of a Culling Games type of situation, and I'm in a less exciting way because it's not like a battle royale between characters that, you know, have abilities and we've seen before. It's more, you know, just regular people. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't. You know, the thing is, it's like I'd like to reread Sakamoto Days and try to like piece together like that backstory arc with X and Rion and Sakamoto, because I do want to get. I feel like I don't have like an understanding yet of how thematically like this is solid. I think this is a interesting prospect. I'm excited to see. You know, this is going to guarantee more action in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just gonna have to fight the Order right here, right now, but maybe the Order like takes little territories or whatever in Japan and enters the game in a way. I don't know.
I could see that. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
That would be pretty sick.
yeah. I'm not sure though. I feel like, you know, what's gonna happen is that people are gonna get guns and some people are gonna shoot people up, and it's gonna like start to prove that X was right, but then something's gonna happen where Sakamoto kind of proves to everybody that they don't have to do this, or maybe like he changes their mind. I'd like it to, this is my prediction. I feel like something to do with, you know, in the very beginning of Sakamoto Days, we see that Sakamoto is kind of like a pillar of his community. And, you know, he helps people out left and right. And, you know, he's just kind of a neighborhood guy. And I feel like he's going to like leverage that into, you know, teaching people kindness in a way. And I think that would be a good thematically with Sakamoto Days, but I don't know how this is going to go, really. But, you know, if anything, I'm excited for the fun action that we're definitely going to get because it's Sakamoto Days. But
My theory is that the series is gonna, well, like he's gonna end this conflict by becoming Fat Sakamoto, because like every time he's had to go back to his past to become stronger, but this time who he is now is what he really needs to be strong.
Yeah.
I
hope so.
Fat old Sakamoto.
Yeah. No, I want Fat Sakamoto back. I feel like that's kind of the hook of the series, really. Is Fat Sakamoto fighting. But that's all I really have to say about Sakamoto Days. I thought it was an okay chapter. I guess I'm withholding judgment for, you know, how that arc is going to continue onward.
I'm trying to withhold judgment too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to let this arc cook before I render any definitive judgment. But that's all I got. You guys have any rebuttals?
Nopers.
Alrighty, then let's go.
This is part of the war in the Bronx.
Kagurabachi. And with this one, I'm going to pass it over to Brian, Josh. I don't know which one you guys want to do it.
Josh, I'm covering Kagurabachi.
Yeah.
All right, so Kagurabachi, chapter number 72, Future. Last week we had an interesting chapter that showed us how Samura and his daughter Yori came to living together. The mom was sick, and she passed away suddenly after a year of Iori being with Samura, and yeah, so mom is dead. They're together, and he gets approached by the Hishaku leader. I forgot his name already.
Yura.
Yura, thanks. Yeah, Mr. Slizzer. Okay, so so we cut to that, and Yura pulls up on Samura, and he's like, "Look, I gotta tell you a few things, but first I gotta thank the great hero." And he rehashes what we know about the Saeti War, where the enchanted blades were created to fight the island people that came out of nowhere and used the Datinseki with no drawbacks. Anyway, basically we end up finding out what like really happened, and it wasn't just a simple defend Japan's borders like from these people and force them into like a forfeit. There's another word but that I can't think of. But anyway, this is what actually went down was that one of the crazy swordsman that we all know is like a bad guy basically at this point, was responsible for annihilating the entire population of the island after they already like gave up and had negotiations for peace. So obviously, which is a terrible war crime and a horrible ethic, horrible ethically. He annihilated everybody, and the sword he uses is so, I guess, unbelievably strong that he did it all on his own. So it was a force of pure obliteration. Anyway,
the Shinichi.
Yeah, the Shinichi. Thank you. Yeah, the Sword of Legends. So yeah, Yura's like, look, they hid the truth because they didn't want like conflicts to rise, to complicate the situation when peace had already been acquired, and they decided to lock away the swordsman. But that's the problem, right? Like Yura says that as long as the swordmaster lives, that calamity known as the malediction will occur again in the near future in this country. And he doesn't. It's not like he has proof that it's going to happen. They don't foreshadow that to us anyway. But it is something to think about. So he just poofs away. Oh, actually, he burns away. That's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. And Iori comes to the door, checks in on them. It's like, oh, what's going on outside? He's like, yeah, don't worry, go back to sleep. So I guess the next day he heads to the Kaminabi headquarters to talk to. I don't remember his name, but he was one of the people at the round table.
Yeah,
of the Kaminabi, one of the big bosses. So yeah, he's chatting with Samura. He tells the old man about what Yura just told him about, like, hey, like, do you know if there's any like issues regarding the swordsman? And the old man is telling him like, look, it's a prophecy, but at the end of the day, like, we have all the measures set, to ensure that doesn't happen again. But there's a whole nother issue, right? Like, apparently, in order for Chihiro's father to create the enchanted blades, he had to make eternal contracts, for the swordsman, as we all know. So only one person can use the blade at a time. But in order to create like that spell, he had to basically connect all the other blades, using the Shinichi as like the core. So they're all linked together. And but more specifically, you can't kill, I guess, like you can't kill the main core without killing everybody else. So that's why they decided to just lock him up instead. So I think that's pretty interesting. Anyway,
Well, I think it's the opposite. If they kill the Shinichi master, then the other masters die.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought that's what I said.
No, you said if you killed like the other sword masters or something.
Oh, my bad.
So it's like a hive mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. So the old man basically, this is when he tells him like to calm down, and he's like, look, like you're caring for your daughter now, you're concerned for the future, you know, you're in every right, like you're a father, and frankly it's like new to him, but there's plenty of plans in place to make sure that y'all don't have to sacrifice your lives, you know. To the very end, the rest of you fought to save the citizens, not to kill the enemy. You guys are heroes. Y'all don't deserve to die. This was the best decision. You know, live for the future. We cut to Iori at the sword school. She's getting real nice with that purity technique.
Yeah.
She actually does it with her eyes closed too, because she's been copying her dad so much. But there is a practical element to it, because I guess it helps her like focus and hone in to like her targets and to execute better. And also she's, I guess, scary when she fights. So I guess when she closes her eyes, she doesn't hesitate as much either.
Yeah.
So the teacher's like incredible. Well, she is the daughter of the great hero Seiichi Samurai, and he's leaning against the wall like ellipses, thoughtful ellipses. And then she's like, "Oh, did you see that, Dad?" She's like, "I'm going to be the best fighter ever, and I'll protect you." And then he's like, "Oh, you know, well, I can't wait." That's the end of the chapter. Brian, what were your thoughts on Kagurabachi?
This was a pretty fucking crazy lore drop over here. It almost makes what Samura is doing make sense. Like, like it makes you realize, oh shit, this guy might be kind of cooking right now. Because this dude just committed extreme mass genocide with, like, basically on his own. He just went fucking rogue. And that was honestly a pretty crazy revelation. I always knew that there was something going on with that final blade user because he always looked so fucking tweaked out whenever we saw him.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that it was on that level of wildness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder, is Chihiro also part of that hive mind, or
No, I think his is separate from the others. The N10 was made separately. It's not part of the 5.
Right.
so that means that if that guy dies, why didn't he just go straight after that guy then? Why didn't Samura just go straight after him?
I guess he's super heavily guarded and he was just one guy.
But if he killed him, then all of them would be dead essentially, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think the idea is that like not even Samura thinks that he could get through the entire Kabunabi to get to this guy.
Oh,
It's better to pick them off one by one.
Mm-hmm.
And he
then
didn't even have a
eventually kill
sword
this guy.
yet until recently.
But you think Samura would be enough to beat that guy?
Without his sword, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Shinichi.
Well,
Oh, but he will.
Oh,
He will
he's gonna
eventually.
get it back for sure.
He's gonna get it.
He's gonna get it back.
He's gonna get that. Yeah, he's gonna get the Shinichi.
Yeah.
1000%.
I don't think he's gonna get it. I
Look
think
at that
the Gura
face.
guy.
That face screams, "I'm a bad guy" for an arc.
He said, "No, they must be annihilated."
No.
I think yours going to be the one who gets it.
Oh, yeah? I feel like maybe he eventually gets it. Like, he takes it from this guy. He betrays him or something. But I can't imagine they're not going to have this guy as a villain at some point. They're building him up too much.
But yeah, those are my thoughts. Pretty wild lore drop for Sakamoto Days. I mean, not Sakamoto Days. Fucking
Whoa.
Kagurabachi. Whoopsie.
Whoa.
Dirt.
But yeah, Chris, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like this chapter a lot. This is my RGC.
Oh yeah, this is my RGC.
What about you, Josh?
Yes.
Hey, Unified, really good chapter of the week.
Unified RGC. Unified RGC. Unified RGC.
So good. I like this backstory. We still don't have the whole story, I feel. So I'm excited to get even more into it. I'm glad that they revealed just enough to keep us like going and give us a little bit of satisfaction, and withheld some stuff. I'm sure we're gonna get a more expensive flashback here at some point. I'm curious as to what Yora's connection to this is. I don't know if he was maybe like a descendant of the people that were annihilated, or
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm actually dead certain.
Yeah, that's probably
that
like
he
the
is
most obvious thing.
directly from the island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And by descendant, I mean like it happened it didn't happen that long ago.
Yeah, it was like 20 something years ago or something.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
So, maybe he's like a survivor from the island, or I do think that maybe it's more of a descendant thing, or maybe he's just some guy who realized that shit was fucked up. And he hated how that went down, and he's just trying to get the get back for the people who were essentially genocided. But it does make Yura a little more interesting that this seems to be his motivation for continuing onward with his plan. And he seems to know that the malediction is going to happen again. Like, this is a preventative measure, what he's going for. So he does have, like, I guess, a good intention type of thing going for him.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, he could be a bad person with good intentions. I think like that's most villains. If you really like good villains, at least, is people who believe that they're doing good, but they're going about it in malicious ways or not the more ethically sound ways. I mean, we'll have to see. Yora's motivations are still very much a mystery. We know that they're tied to this island. That much is clear enough, but we don't know in what fashion, in what way. It's obvious. I mean, he wants to destroy the sword bearers to prevent this very thing from happening, the malediction. He probably believes that at some point the swords, if they're around for long enough, or they're in the wrong hands, they'll just take over the personalities, like the Shinichi did to that one guy. So, and in that case, the swords would be at their most powerful, and they can do some real damage. But and so his answer is obviously, let's kill the sword bearers so that we can stop that from happening. But we'll have to go see and what's going on there. Yeah, I think there's just like some kind of interesting stuff going on here with the leader of the Kamunabi. I think his response is like, kind of fair. He's like, hey, you guys did enough. I think you guys did do a good thing, and you've done enough. You don't have to like keep putting your lives on the line. Leave it to us. At some point, the people have to be, I guess, standing on their own, is I guess what he's trying to say. I like that perspective from this guy. So hopefully we get more from him too. There's a lot of characters in Kagurabachi that haven't gotten really fleshed out yet. I'm wondering what this guy's role is, the head of the Kamunabi. He had to have been involved in some way. I had this strange theory about this guy that he's maybe related to Mini Masumi Man.
It looks like his grandfather or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they've like revealed that at all, but I feel like that might be the vibe they're going for here with this guy. He also has the sunglasses like them, so
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're related. Maybe they mentioned that already.
and he's also a mini man. So
Let me look that up.
No, they haven't mentioned any connection between those two. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, I think it's great, and I think that it's a standard like trope of stories like this where there's like kind of a conspiracy or a whitewashing of history, where like the victors rewrite history, and that's certainly what they've done here with making Shinichi Man kind of propping up as a hero, as opposed to telling the truth and saying that this guy was actually responsible for an unprovoked genocide, especially during a ceasefire or a surrender of some sort.
Surrender, yeah.
So, not great, but I do want to read something because we got a little bit. We got some thoughts from Mike actually about this specific chapter. And I want to read it to encourage people. If you guys have any thoughts on Kagurabachi or any of the series we talk about, email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com or comment under the YouTube video that you're watching right now. But Mike says that Kagurabachi was raw as fuck this week. And if y'all don't give it the RGC, that's going to make me question that's going to make me question your decision making in life. Don't worry about it.
Yo.
Don't worry about it. I was already planning on giving it the RGC. I thought it was the best chapter of the week.
Yeah.
He said, I love the way it touched on real life things like how the winners rewrite history and glorify criminals to fall in line with the agenda. Also, want the author to explore the flashback further, like how the sword bearers had to come together to take down the sword saint. If I could vote, I would give it the RGC this week. Well, you have an honorary vote, Mike.
Yeah, we got you, bro.
Yeah.
Got to unify that.
We got you, bro Tendo.
Bro Tendo 64. Did they say that they defeated him altogether? I don't even remember that part.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah. It does mention that the 5 other Enchanted Blade wielders fought him. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that is cool. The concept that they all band together to fight him. And they all survived? Damn. I'm so excited to find out what the other sword bearers' sword powers are. I don't know what those 2 ladies that for Ura, what was it?
Uraha? No.
Uraha, yeah. What his
Uraha,
swords
yeah.
do. But yeah, great chapter. That's all I really got to say. I already said enough. Do we have any rebuttals about Kags this week?
Yeah, I had a couple thoughts. So look, I think it's pretty clear that this Hishaku, that Yura, he's motivated by the events of what happened. It's crazy to say that. Oh, I have a prediction that it's going to happen again, but obviously someone's pulling the strings to make these things happen because unprovoked, there was pretty good plans in place. And again, like I think. Keeping 5 of the 5 other swordsmen like alive and locking this person away, you know what I'm saying? Then sealing the Shinichi and all of that, it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that was the best like decision they could make. So it's not like it's just gonna happen. Like someone is making this shit happen, and it's the Hishaku. Regardless what they're motivated by. And I think it'd be really interesting if they got into the dynamics of that, of them doing it for the sake of vengeance. And, I guess it could be simple on the surface, but I think there could be a lot of layers. Anyway, that's it. That's all I really had to say.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Cogs. Very, very good stuff. let's move onward.
Tell that pussy clad girl me know what.
World Trigger. I'm pulling it up right now. I don't have it open. I should, though. This is World Trigger chapter 249. The Away Mission Test part 41. Last we left off, we are continuing the battle, the Away Mission Test, where everybody is confined to a specific space, and they're conducting mock battles through this kind of video game type thing, while also doing special assignments, like little homework type things. And last we left off, there was a message from the higher-ups about a rule change coming. And they explain, we open this chapter while explaining that the total squad budget for the mock battles that happen during this has increased from 12,000 to 18,000. And a victory could previously be achieved by a margin of 2,000 points or more. The requirement is now 3,000 points. Yeah, everybody's like, it's 1.5 times the budget. So, it's going to get harder. Everybody's going to have more resources to spend. And so they start to fuck around and make new they're trying to think of new strategies, basically. Osamu explains that they're going to continue to take the general approach to these battles that they had the other day, where they were doing really well while predicting their opponent's counter strategies. And the way they did that is that they had allotted for a certain amount of budget to go to these sniper units that would scour about and just shoot people from a distance, but they would only have like 2 or 3 shots or something. But basically, Osamu explains that based on their major wins, they can expect that other squads will counter their strategies. So the roadblock will be defense-oriented units that would specifically countermeasure against these weaker little snipers. And so Osamu has seemed to create a new unit, which is this weird-looking Tryon soldier with a regular kind of humanoidish body, but with those rad heads that look like little spider things as the head. And they basically are there to counter the tanks, like the stronger defense-oriented units. Basically, they're basically copying a strategy from Utagawa's squad by making a weird looking Tryon soldier to kind of throw off the more defensive oriented units. So, that seems to be their strategy. And yeah, it's a lot of talking about the strategy of this video game type stuff. And they kind of decide on a strategy, and we then cut over to the HQ management desk, where the higher ups of Border are discussing the test so far. Murakami is on the top of the squad, the charts with 600 points, and Suwa Squad is in second place. Long way they came. I believe they were bottom of the barrel in the first few days of the exam, so it's cool to see them increase in rank. And Kakizaki and Kitazoa and more Mizukami squads are doing pretty well as well. And they talked to Chief Kiriyama, who is a new character. It's the first time we met him, and he's the chief engineer for Border. He's the guy who I guess manufactures all the Tryon, the triggers and all that stuff. And his name is Ryoji Kiriyama. So, pretty cool. And the chief asks, the president, the leader of Border, asks about his opinion on how the exam is proceeding. And Kiriyama is kind of he's kind of modest. He's like, that's a big ask for a simple tech guy like me. He's like, I'm just a tech support, bro, but I still won't have any slick insights like the way that Masa and Taku do. Masa being Shinoda and Taku being forget this guy's name, but he looks like Colonel Hughes and Rindo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rindo. So he explains that he's guessing that Murakami's squad will hold on to the lead and win overall, because unlike yesterday, they've all got a solid pool of tactics. So those working with actual brain power are bound to have the advantage. So he just thinks they're going to stay ahead because, they've been pretty smart so far. Nezumi, the business guy, is like, well, Murakami's squad has perhaps spent too much time on counter strategies for the Sims, an inefficient approach considering their other assignments. And he's like, yeah, I guess efficiency counts for something, but knowing when to toss the efficiency out the window can be a strength sometimes. And the head operator lady explains that on the other side of the spectrum, Sua Squad, which didn't waste much time on strategy, we have Sua Squad, which didn't spend much time strategizing today. And Kiriyama explains that when you pit raw effort against raw effort, the stronger side usually comes up. So instead, Sua opted to work smarter, not harder, by making use of Mikumo's creative thinking. And he said, imagine investing a bunch of time and energy into these Sims only to lose. So, at least this strategy avoids disappointment no matter what. And it's very similar to how Mizukami ran things, where in a less voluntary way, Mizukami would just decide on the strategy for the squad and just go for it without really informing them of his intentions. And Commander Kido asks Kinuda about the combat phase of the exam, which we're all desperately waiting for, I imagine. And Kinuda's like, yeah, we're nearly done testing the additional rule. Special rule. And they explain that there's also going to be a few revisions to the rules overall. So, it's not going to be just like the rank wars. It seems to be a very different type of battle situation that they're going to throw these guys into, which I'm so excited for. I guess the operator literally just comes forward and says what one of the new rules are, and it seems to be a big thing that operators are going to be joining the battlefield, which is very interesting. Because the operators are usually so stationary, and the idea is that they would kind of stay in the ship, but now they're going to be field agents, just like the rest of them. Nezumi is kind of doubtful of it. He's like, I'm not entirely sure. But the head operator is like down for it. She is in. It feels more forward thinking to take non-combatants out and make them more capable of emergence from the ship. And Nezumi's like, I'm only thinking about their safety. I'm worried about that. But Kiriyama counters were like, hey, this is going to be a longer trip. Usually away missions are shorter. So, we have to kind of account for, more things going crazy. We have to do right about it. And Nezumi is like, yeah, never mind. I forget about that. So Kinuda mentions a final special assignment. And it looks like it's going to go as planned. And the rest of the chapter is pretty much explaining the rounds between the teams. At the end of the day, Sua Squad walks away with about 4 wins and 5 losses and 1 draw. And at the end of the day, they reach second place in the daily sims. Not second place. They're 4th place. They're tied with 4th with Kuruma. And in the overall rankings, they're still pretty much very far ahead in second place, just underneath Mizukami. They're doing really well. Wait, hold on. Is this the sealed environment's current rankings? The sealed environment phase 3 out of 22 rankings. They're second place again as well there. Wakamura squad, I guess, wins the day. They're in first place at 1920 points. So yeah, they're doing good.
They really turned it around.
Yeah, they figured it out. But I think this is just like the daily thing, because I believe their overall score is that They Wakamura squad ended up is in 8th place currently. So, yikes. But anyway, they log off for the days. They're about to go eat, and then Katori notices that the door to the food pantry won't open. You know, because these things are operated by Tryon. She presses it and it doesn't open. So, what's going on?
Uh-oh.
Rutro, and that's World Trigger, chapter 249. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
Shit is about to get critical.
You think so?
Yeah, you got 4 people that probably won't be able to eat for like maybe a day or 2. They might force them to fast,
Damn.
or like maybe they'll end up having emergency rations or something like that to simulate like the possibility of that happening. That would be crazy. Anyway, I am anticipating the combat portion of the test like everyone else is, but I am really enjoying this aspect too, with the Tryon soldiers and stuff. I've been enjoying this entire arc, but I feel like there's a lot of teams to like keep track of, as far as like seeing their development and what they improve on. So I just wonder how long we're gonna stay on Tamakoma, because I'm sure they're gonna shift to another group to focus on. I'm really looking. I'm interested in what Wakamura squad. That's his name, right? Wakamura, the guy that had that huge that little arc.
Yeah, Wakamura.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see what's up with that team. I think I really like how oh man, it's been so long since I've read World Trigger. What is the girl's name again?
Katori? Which
With
one?
the dark Katori, thank you. Yeah. I really like how she's like adjusted. Even when they started like when the strategy started to fuck up, like she didn't blame Osamu or nothing like that. I know they already had their moments like earlier in the arc, but it's just nice to see. I think she's gonna be like a really a big key character like later on. You know what I mean? You know, I know a lot of other characters get shine, but I think there's something special about Katori. I think the author gives her like a lot of attention. I don't really have anything else to say. Brian, what are your thoughts?
I think Katori is kind of like a foil to Osamu, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
she's a physical fucking prodigy, and Osamu's a student of hard work. So they're both. That's kind of like their whole thing, right? This was a pretty. I'm just curious. I don't have many thoughts on this chapter, but I'm really curious as to what happened with Wakamura Squad because they have been on a tear since he went through his whole like earth-shattering earth-shattering thing that he went through earlier. So maybe he just became a fucking beast after that. I don't know what happened, but Wakamura Squad really fucking picked up. So that's where my attention mostly went towards this chapter. Mizukami Squad is also going fucking sicko mode. But I can't imagine that it's gonna hold up in the combat phase for that squad. I think there's gonna be a lot of the bottom ranked teams for the sealed environment that are gonna really fucking cut loose when it comes to the combat section. So I'm curious how that's going to play out.
I think Wakamura. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say one more thing. Having the operators be on the field now, such a good fucking change. Oh man,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how that turns out. Because so if they get taken out, does that mean like basically all of their comms are going to be absolutely fucked? Is that what's going to happen?
I would think that they're gonna find a way to make them like kind of mobile. I don't think they're gonna be straight up combatants. And I don't know if they're gonna do it all the time, but I think they would like to have the capability to have operators be more mobile for the sake of a longer mission where you never know what's gonna happen, and they're gonna need to be more variable in the way they operate. No pun intended.
So like if they die, they'll still be able to do their job, right? Or are they just fucked? Like if because that would mean that if they can't do their job after like their Tryon bodies are taken out, then they're gonna be the most like public enemy number one on battlefields every single time. People are gonna be hunting for these operators immediately, right off the jump.
Yeah, I mean,
rank. You're talking about like rank wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they're not going to be. There's not a strategy to have the like behind them being more mobile. Like they're just going to throw them out there.
Yeah, but even if they are more mobile, that's not going to stop. I feel like
well, it's better. I think
sitting ducks compared to like.
I think the idea is that they won't be stationary, stuck in a ship, and somebody could just go straight for the ship and destroy the ship, and they'll have no operator.
Yeah. That's. But my point is like them participating in battles is going to be interesting because like it completely shifts the dynamic of battle, right? Like, usually people are focusing like other enemies, but once operators are around, like they become the easiest thing to kill. You know what I mean? I just wonder how they're gonna function on a battlefield, how they're gonna be able to protect themselves. Like, do they get triggers? Like, what are operators going to be able to do to survive on their own? Because at that point, it's just going to become squads, like, kind of protecting their operators, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's interesting.
I guess they'd have to like figure out like a strategic infrastructure around that. Either make them more a little more combat ready, or have a strategy around protecting them. But
they're definitely going to have bagworms 100%.
Yeah,
they are going to be bagworm merchants.
Yeah, I think. I think this test is going to be basically the first we see of operators actually being on the field, because every team has an operator, so they'll probably put them on the field of these battle exams just to test how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy thing. I can't because I can't even think of how it's going to look like.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, theoretically they should be like sitting ducks for the most part. Like I'm just curious how it's going to pan out. Wait, aren't there some operators that are like former like?
I think so.
Former soldiers.
I think there might be like former fighters in that are not operators, but I don't remember exactly who.
Could you imagine like a former Tryon, a former rigger, like what are they called? Border agent, a former like full-fledged border agent just pulls out a fucking ray gus and just beats people's ass.
That'd be cool. It might, as far as how the whatever like battle simulation however that manifests itself, I think is going to be a situation where you got to defend the base. That's what I'm thinking. I think these operators.
Oh, that would be pretty good.
At the end of the day, like the way the operators function is that they look at the terrain. They have a map and they can see. They have like visuals on like people in like different situations. And it's hard to just do that when you're outside with your own eyeballs. I mean, everyone else can fucking see, what you can see. You know what I mean? So you're not much of a help. So I think they're still going to have some type of technology, and maybe they could walk around with it or travel, and they'll have some like fucking helmet or something like that. But I think realistically, that's hard. I mean?
Wait, I think you're onto something with that, with like a base of operations within the maps and stuff like that.
I think for the test for sure. I don't know how they're gonna in the away mission. I don't know how that's gonna manifest, but like I think for the test, yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's gonna be like every team chooses a spot that only they know to start. Like they choose a spot on the map to be their base of operations. And then teams would have to like go around and try to find their base essentially and take them out.
Yeah, you gotta weigh offense versus defense, how much, how many people you're gonna send out to attack versus defend. I don't know.
I feel like that's a pretty cool element to add. I think that would be sick if they do like bases and shit.
Yeah.
God, the more World Trigger gets fleshed out and like, the more the more that these like combat scenarios get more fleshed out, it just becomes more and more fun. Like I just want to play a game of World Trigger. Honestly, it's such a fun thing to read. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this chapter of World Trigger. I thought it was. I do think that portion where they were discussing operators was very fun, and meeting the chief engineer was cool. But yeah, the game part is not something I ever really connected with in this, unfortunately. Like just the mechanics of the game. I would not like this video game in real life. It's a little too. I don't know. It's very hardcore gamer, which I'm not.
It is hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is for real gamers, like it's that type of shit. So, I think it's interesting. I do like seeing, I like the idea, the watching them and like find solutions for this, but the part about the game itself has never been all that interesting with me. That being said, I do love World Trigger, obviously. I'm excited to see where this goes. And, I'm curious because this is this part where they're going to be short on food is obviously part of the exam, and it might be actually that special assignment that they mentioned when they were talking about this stuff. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Maybe they have to combine their try-on in order to open certain things and gain access to food, or it is just maybe a test of how teams react to a lack of resources. So I think it's going to be very interesting, and seeing how World Trigger writes people very realistically. I'm excited to see how people problem solve this part of it. But that's all I got to say about World Trigger. Any rebuttals? Anything else to say?
No.
Alrighty
then. I fucking hope. I hope, but that we somehow get like a World Trigger video game.
That would be nice.
We need it.
Like a Rank Wars-esque.
Yes. You link up with your boys. You drop in a random zone.
Yeah.
I mean, they have entire fucking open world maps already. Like Fortnite is the giant island. They could make a city that's like,
with
at
different
least
triggers,
a quarter of the size. Yes, you could customize your character that you go in with. You can have like 2 different loadouts. Listen, don't get me started, Get me fucking started. That would be one of the most awesome games ever.
Yeah.
That shit would be better than Marvel Rivals. I said it.
Definitely.
And I gotta give Brian my Marvel Rivals name. I forgot. My bad, bro.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well. All right. With that being said, let's move onward.
The champ is here!
Dandadan. This is Dandadan, chapter 186, Koki Yukishiro's Power. Last we left off, Ira, Rin, and Yukishiro are all fighting against the most craziest villain group I've ever seen, the headless basketball dribbler guys. And, it's not going great. They're struggling heavily. These things seem to be controlled by the creepiest gym teacher in the world. And it's not going great. Yukishiro reaches out to the pygmies that she used in her previous battle, and she begs them to help her. Meanwhile, we cut back to the fucking gym teacher who is in a Speedo, just walking around saying, okay, for real, for real. Her, for real, her, for real. And he's like, you gotta work up a sweat. Her, for real. Or
Yo, what's good with this author?
I hate this guy. Oh my god, this shit is crazy. He says he picks up, like, I guess a beer or a soda, and
What goes on in this nigga's head?
I don't know. And he's drinking, and then he has the teacher. Is this the teacher lady that he hit on earlier? He has her.
Yes.
He has her in a Playboy bunny suit type of thing in his
And a
apartment.
bunny one piece.
Crazy.
With the thong back.
Like the thong back.
And a little puffy little puff tail in the back.
Yeah, crazy. And like she's not responding to it, but he's letting the beer dribble out of his mouth as he's drinking it. He's like, you're in a bad mood. I won't lend you any money if you're like that. And then he just like gets super duper close to her. I hate it. I hate this fucking guy.
Super D duper. Super D duper.
Yo.
And he says, it must be hard having to nurse your mother, and it's not going to cost
No
any-
one draws creeps better than
this
than
guy
author.
loves drawing creeps.
He is the best. I am not envious of the life he lived.
No.
Of life they lived to be able to, create, like, visually create this imagery.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
And he's like, okay, shall we get started then? And we see that she's carrying a talisman that says, by divine decree, serve even in death. So I don't know if that's like his thing where he has her under control of some sort. But anyway, we cut back to the gym, thank God. And he's like, she's basically explaining that he's not anywhere. Murakami's not anywhere near the school. And Ira's like, we've been had. Murakami was never in the gym to begin with. And Rin is at her limit. She can't hold on any longer. And Yukishiro is just thinking to herself that she can't do anything and that she's always, that she turns around because one of the pygmies is pointing behind her. And it seems that the pygmies have pulled out the floorboards of the gym and have built this little piano for her. And she asked them, like, oh my God, where'd you get this? And they're like, moo, moo. And
They built it. They built it?
They built a
I
grand.
didn't even know.
They built a grand
didn't realize.
piano out of the floorboards, I think, of the gym. And May tells her to play the piano because the pygmies are asking her to use her ability, and she's like, it's the class rep's power, and she's like, Miss Yukishiro, please and thank you, and then she gives it a try, and we get a flashback from Yukishiro's perspective where she's been playing piano since she was a young girl. And she has this thing, where like, I think like a lot of musicians probably relate to this, where like she can kind of see the sound when she's playing. I think Pharrell talked about this actually, that he can kind of see colors when he plays certain sounds.
It's called synesthesia.
Yeah, synesthesia, something like that. Where colors emerge from different sounds, which some people can perceive it that way. So yeah, as she got older, she's been learning piano, and she has this seemingly strict piano teacher. Is like, you can't just rely on your perfect pitch. If you don't understand the composer's intent, you can't properly express it. Perform it precisely according to the score. And yeah, she keeps trying, but she's doing it, and she's doing it precisely, but she can't see the sound anymore. And we cut back to the present where she's playing the piano, but nothing seems to be happening. And she's like, she's playing it wrong. Like, for some reason that the sound is messed up. And Yukishiro's like, no, I can't play it like this. And she explains that the piano has pure intonation. It was a type used for classical music in medieval Europe. So, it's like a very specific and particular piano. And Ira's like, well, you have perfect pitch. You can figure out the notes one step at a time. And she's like, I can't just figure that out right now. And Ira's like, well, you're a prodigy, aren't you? I used to only think about defeating you, because when Ira was young, she also played the piano. And when she would go to like little recitals and stuff, she would see that that Yukishiro was at the top because her performances seemed more fun than anyone else's. And she always imagined what it would be like to play like her, you know? And she said after Yukishiro quit the piano, so did Ira. And that she loved the way that she played piano. And, you know, Ira pushes herself to remember how that felt and how she used to play. And we get this big 2-page spread where she goes, boom, and she starts playing piano. And the sound is just like so completely heart-wrenching. And Ira turns to Rin and asks if it's amping her power. And she's like, I don't know. But May explains that Yukishiro's ability isn't something that amplifies Rin power, and it doesn't control the pygmies either. And then we see that there's these flies circulating about, and we end the chapter with a 2-page spread where there seems to be fucking, I guess, locusts. Is that what this is? Like, she's literally summoning like a sign of the apocalypse over. Does she control bugs? Or does she summon locusts with this ability? I don't know. But that is where the chapter ends. Joshua.
What the fuck, bro?
Joshua Cole.
What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I never know what's happening. I never know what's happening in Dandadan ever. I'm up to date. I read it, and I read it recently from chapter 1 all the way to 186. Wow. Damn, it's been out longer than Kagurabachi.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's pretty crazy. But man, we can't. I mean, Iara, what's her name? Ara.
Wait, hold on. Can you say that again? I lost it for a second.
The girl with the hair. That can use her hair and with the attacks.
Ira?
The honorable one. What's her name? Ira.
Ira?
Yo. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, she's the main character. That's it. That's it. She's the main character. Let me tell you why. She's done everything. She was like a musician, a idol, right? She did like the idol shit too, like with the class reps past. They knew each other in the past too, I think. She did the most, and she was a little bit manipulative, like when she was in high school. But I can understand why, you know, her being so talented and all the shit she's accomplished got to her head amongst all these other, like, I guess, quote unquote regular, high school students that aren't involved in as much like activities and hobbies. Anyway, she's a motivator, yo. She don't keep her head down too long. Like she take her L's and she keep it pushing. Main character. I said it. Remember, it was me. Remember, I said that first. Anyway, yeah, I thought she controlled the pygmies, but they're just friends with her. Mm-hmm. Why? Does anyone remember?
I mean, she seemed to control them when she was like evil Yukishiro. But they seem to like
maybe
her.
She was just whispering to her. Yeah. Remember, because she got knocked out and they were carrying her?
I don't remember this.
Whatever. I don't think she has the ability to control them. Oh, you're right. When she was evil, because she stabbed herself with the ability, right? All right. I understand what you was trying to say before, basically. That she actually did have the ability to control the pygmies because of that vampire dude or whatever giving her an ability. She doesn't have that anymore, but this whole spiritual situation awakened her latent ability that I guess some people have. And it has something to do with playing the piano and summoning Bugs.
Bugs.
I don't like it. What are they gonna do?
I know you don't.
How are they gonna help? We already have small creatures coming.
Mm.
Why does that have to be bugs? You know?
You
I
can't
don't agree
doubt
with
this
that.
guy. Everything makes sense at some point.
The bugs, the holding the bottle sideways, you know, the talisman that says by divine crease serve even in death. Weird vibes. Weird vibes this whole chapter. It was funny though. Anyway, Brian, what were your thoughts?
This was a fucking insane chapter from start to finish. You know, remember a while back we were giving this guy props for being able to handle rejection well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that didn't age well.
It did not age well at all.
It did not age well. In fact, it aged like way worse than milk. I don't know what ages worse than milk, but it aged like that. The guy turned out to be an immense sicko, ultimate level sicko.
Don't forget the booger.
Yeah.
Oh my
dude.
god. I already told you how much I hate that.
He was chomping on his own fucking boogers like it's breakfast.
The way he drew the panel too, he's just lurking. I thought he was in the gym watching them doing that, but that was just the introduction to the true introduction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy I wonder how they're gonna beat him because he's so far away. I think the teacher that he has captive has one of the blades, right? Like one of the power stealing blades.
I think so, right? I do remember that she had like something.
So maybe that's what she's gonna do. She's just gonna fucking yoink his shit. And that would probably explain why she's there, right?
Yeah. The thing is I'm not. I mean, I'm only guessing that's her because she looked just like.
No, it is
but I
her.
don't know.
It is her, 100%.
I mean, wasn't he saying something about like, oh, your mother is in the hospital?
Yeah, he's basically being like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a lot of money, girl.
Yeah, like, is that
A
what's
lot of
happening?
money.
But it also seems like there's something else going on with that talisman. I don't think that was just something she was holding. I think it's a freaky spell.
Yeah.
A sick, nasty, freaky spell.
But yeah, those are most of my thoughts. I don't even know what to think about the fucking locusts or flies or whatever they are.
Yeah, some kind of bug.
But yeah,
Negative.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah, it was cool to get more depth into Josh's new least favorite character. Yukishiro with her bug summoning powers. I really love this 2-page spread where she starts to play the piano like all like bam 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 bam.
Yeah, dramatic
Bam
as shit.
bam bam bam. So good.
Oh, is that what she was doing?
I feel like that was the vibe that they're trying to capture, where she just like suddenly played like something really dark and heavy. Maybe she summons different things based on the music that she plays on the piano, and maybe that's why.
Man.
Maybe that's why it's flies this time around, because it's like just.
Are these bugs going to be dribbling?
Oh my god! Imagine
The bugs show up, they start playing basketball.
yeah, basketball playing flies.
That would be. They form bodies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they go.
They run a 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be epic.
So good.
You already know the spirit has to run point for sure.
For sure. I mean, we already knew the pygmies can ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw them. We saw them balling out last chapter, right?
So why not fly?
Oh, that was the pygmies. That
Yeah,
wasn't
they
her.
formed like a body around May, and they just like crossed over.
Oh no! So pygmies.
Rucker Park
Yeah.
enjoyers. They show up to Rucker Park every weekend.
Yeah, the pygmies got to count at. They should actually be the whole starting five. We don't need the bugs. We don't need them.
They clearly need them. They're summoning them. So
I
Yeah.
don't understand you,
I feel like what they're gonna do is that they're going to
Yukinobu.
they're gonna use the bugs. Like somehow the bugs are gonna tell them where the gym teacher is, because they're all over the city. And then they're gonna probably send like Ira or something to just like dash after him real fast. I don't know, but I'm excited to find out.
We haven't seen Okaroon and other guy in a while, Ginto, right?
That's because they're dead.
Never stop fucking with me, all right? They will never kill my goat Kinta.
Pack.
No pack. But yeah, I mean, the one thing I was like kind of raising my eyebrow of is like Ira being there for Yukishiro's flashback. I don't remember that ever being like hinted at all or anything. I'm just like, she was there too. She is kind of perfect, huh? I thought it was touching in a sense, but there was like a part of me that was like, well, when did that happen? It felt like they didn't really know each other. But all right.
This the vampire guys pulling the strings. He's got plans and schemes.
Yeah.
You had plans. You were a schemer.
Oh, that's
The Joker.
Yeah, I was just remembering. It's, like, it's always about
one
the
of the-
money.
That's one of the best scenes ever to me, and not because he had a point or anything like that, because the acting was so incredible.
Yeah, once in a generational acting guy.
He manipulated this shit out of that. You sure? And that's how my face will get better? No.
No.
Anyway,
Anyway, but that's all I really had to say about Dandadan. I thought it was a fun chapter. I'm excited to see how the flies play into this. But yeah, that's all I really got. Any rebuttals or anything?
hopefully they don't.
Yeah, hopefully they just go away.
Hopefully the bugs were just aesthetic.
Yeah, hopefully they just like pop up and then they never address them again.
Yeah.
They just come out of nowhere and they disappear and nobody talks about the fact that there were a billion bugs everywhere.
That would be preferable.
But that's it. Should we close this one out, boys?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
that
sir.
was Dandadan, and that has been our show. Wow. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Check out where he's streaming. He streams video games sometimes, maybe, kind of, sorta, at twitch.tv/It's Punchline. Email the show at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we'll answer it on a pre-show chat show that we didn't do this week, but we usually do every week. And comment your thoughts. If you guys don't want to email, you can comment under the video that you're watching here at New Jump City, and like, share, subscribe, all that stuff wherever you find us, whether it's YouTube or any of the other audio platforms that we're on. Please check us out. Subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. With that being said, that has been our show. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
My phone just dropped.
Oh, shit.